Hey everybody, welcome to Midweek Live. Okay, this is very cool. Can I just admit to you, like, this is very cool. Talk to me right here. I got some guests with me, but right now it's just you and me. We're hanging. I'm at Classic Coffee. I got myself a white chocolate mocha. That's what this is right here, and with some cream on it. I just figured if you're going to go large all the way. So if you don't even know what Classic Coffee is, I'm really sorry for you. But Classic Coffee, it's right in downtown Glendora. They're open. You've got to wear your mask. Come on. You got to wear your mask, social distance, all of that. But Fred and Lois Sparling own this place. It's operated by their son, Jonathan. And so they were so kind. I reached out and said, hey, can I host our midweek live conversation right here out in the street? And they're like, yes, of course, John. Come on over. So this is very cool. I gotta be honest with you, it's a little weird doing this midweek live, kind of out here in the open. Because, for instance, like Dan over there, he's part of my live audience today. I've never met this dude, but he's got what looks like to be a very nice, good beverage there. Yeah, it's Colorado beer, and I'm assuming he's ordered some pizza to go with that beer. The pizzas to go. So Dan may actually like hang out right there just because right now he's intrigued about what is this dude doing out in the open talking. Okay, so if I haven't met you, John Dix, I am the host of conversations around our culture and what's going on. I'm the lead pastor at Grace Church at Glendora as well. Huge shout out today, especially to a good friend, close friend, and the production maestro today, Bill Hetzel from MB4 Productions. I promised you a month or two ago that I was going to have him as one of my special guests, and he keeps shaking his head going, John, I'm not going to do it, but I'll get him. Trust me, I'm going to get him. Okay, so listen, it's Wednesday. We're talking about culture. We're talking about what's going on. If you haven't already, you got to let me know that you're with me, okay? So here, let me do some shout outs. To those of you that are on Facebook. I see Leanne's on here, David's on here, Dora's on here, Leslie, Danae, shout out to Danae, Lois Lansford, you're not even in California. I think you're in another state visiting your family, so welcome, Lois, good to have you. Dave Culp, you know where Dave is? Dave's in Texas. Midnia's watching. Shahani, Blanca. Okay, man, there's just like a bunch of you on there. Okay, listen, I got some very, very cool looking and very cool people to talk to today on my show. So if you're on Facebook right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to like host a watch party or something and invite people into this conversation, okay? We're gonna talk to your moms. All you moms out there, we're gonna talk about your situation with your children not being able to go back to school. Okay, and my guest today is a mom who's got kids and whose husband is an educator. Can you think of a better person to have this conversation with? Okay, so that's that. My other guest today, she's just trying to figure out how to do relationships in this digital world. Okay, so we're gonna talk to him, and I have a special guest. I don't see him here yet, but I have a special guest, a special guest appearance. If he shows up, we're gonna drag him into the conversation. And if he doesn't come, I'm going to ask Dan to come over. And we're going to talk to him about how he's feeling right now, what he's doing, and all of that, okay? All right, if you're on YouTube, you got to let me know that you're here, okay? So let me see who's over on YouTube. Rio, I see you there. A bunch of other folks.
Oh, is that Rio?
Rio.
That's Rio. Rio's here. Yep,
awesome.
Rio's here. Okay, all right. To get us started, we got some Grace swag. So I'm going to ask one of my guests, Adam.
Yes.
Adam, here's what I want. Dan needs some Grace swag.
Dan needs some Grace swag.
Pour that beer into
one of our mugs.
One of our mugs.
Can I get?
Take this mug. Yeah, just take whatever you want.
I'm gonna shower him with some Grace. With some Grace stuff.
A big gift just from us. There you go.
I'm going over here. You can't see me.
We're just gonna give a love gift.
I'll take your hand. I'll do a fist
To
bump.
Dan. There you go. Fist bump.
Have a good pizza.
That's good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh goodness.
Awesome.
Oh goodness, we love you, Dan.
So we got some more stuff to give away. We'll do that.
Yeah.
I think what we should do right now is we should just get into this conversation because there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stress right now, just in our culture in general. But specifically this past week, as all of you know, unless you're like, I don't know, buried in some cave somewhere, our governor kind of shut the school system down in terms of in-person, kids going to school in person. So, oh man, I think I knew who that was. This is the problem with doing this live. Like I just saw somebody that went by that I know. So there's a lot of tension with this. And so I wanted to talk to a mom who has kids that's just, can be real with us about this. And I'm just very aware, all of these topics, by the way, that we're struggling with in our culture right now, they can be really divisive. And I've noticed like everybody's temperature is really high, and the littlest of things can really kind of set people off. And I was on my way to work yesterday, and somebody just kind of cut right in front of me, and I just thought to myself, seriously, like, why did you just do that? And there's a little bit in me that started to get like all amped up, and I'm like, seriously, John, you don't need to get worked up about that. So you have to wait at the light 5 more seconds. No big deal. So, but we want to talk honestly about what's going on. And so, okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together right here at Classic Coffee, live out in the open. Kim Harp. Kim Harp is here. Adam, you're in the shot too. Adam, welcome.
Hi.
Okay. Kim, everybody's listening. We got some ladies over there at that table over there. You're not leaving us, are you? You're going to leave? Oh, Adam, grab some swag. Oh, you got to get some swag before you leave.
Here.
Come on.
No, I'm just joking.
No, don't throw it, Adam. Don't throw it.
Here you go.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we got somebody else over here.
Yeah, she wants some
All right,
swag
stay
too.
focused. Give her some.
There we go.
Yeah.
Run out.
Okay, Kim.
Yes.
Okay, so not everybody knows who you are. So first of all, tell us, you're Kim, you're married to Kevin.
Yes.
You have 2 children. Give us the ages of your kids.
Yeah, so I'm the high school pastor at Grace Church. I started in January. Kevin, my husband, we've been married. It'll be 17 years in January. He is a high school history teacher. He actually teaches in Cerritos, so he commutes. But he teaches 8th grade. It's actually a 6-year school, so he teaches 8th grade and 11th grade history. He's been teaching this will be his 17th year. Okay. And we have 2 children. My son's about to be in 5th grade at Shaw Elementary, and my daughter is going into 7th grade at Lone Hill Middle School.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so the reason I wanted to talk with Kim today, everybody, is because this isn't just like an academic issue for her. Like, this is real. Like, she's got kids with names, faces, stories, emotions in your house. You were actually gone last week in the beautiful state of Utah.
Yes.
Just, communing with God.
That is what I was doing.
And this email drops down.
Yeah.
You were at the bottom, I think as you described, you're at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
And you find out that, oh great, school's not opening back up for in-person. Okay, so just like, what was that? What did you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, it was something that we knew was coming. Obviously, with my husband as an educator, we knew that it was coming, and we were actually waiting for his school district to give the news too. But on our drive up to Utah, we were watching the board meeting for the Bonita School District board meeting, and just kind of knowing it was coming, So then we saw the board meeting, the results. And yet, when I got the email, the official email, it was like my chest tightened, and it was just like this, like tears just started to fall down my cheeks, because I knew that was going to be really sad news to have to give to my kids. Yeah. And that's really the hard part, is that I know how much they want to go back to school, see their friends. My son he's going to be a 5th grader. There's things that only a 5th grader get to do, at the top of the elementary school chain, And so
they're at the top of the totem pole right there.
Yeah. So he was looking forward to those 5th grade field trips that they only get to do in 5th grade. And
big man on campus.
Yeah, the big man on campus kind of thing. And so he was really looking forward to that. So I knew giving the news to him was going to be really hard. Yeah. And then for my daughter as well, it's she needs that social interaction. She's a very social person, and so I just knew that giving the news. So I started crying. Yeah. And we were about to go on a hike, and I was like, I don't want to go on a hike, you know, like I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit here in my sadness.
Yeah.
But as I was doing that, I really just heard the Lord whisper, like, I'm on my throne.
Yeah.
And you know, my first response was, yeah, I know that. you know, I'm a pastor, I know that. But you know, your human nature is that, like, but this is still not okay, and it is, you know. I get this health and the safety of keeping our kids safe. I know that that's the thing, but there's all sort of other stuff that school is for.
Yeah.
Right. And not for them not to be able to have that. It's just, it really makes me sad.
Yeah.
So,
like even just listening to you, like I'm getting emotional about it because I realize how much of a loss that is. And then, so talk to me, Kim, a little bit more about, so you kind of work yourself through that first initial, like,
yeah.
You're reminded of who God is, but it doesn't solve the problem, right? The emotional problem, the anxiety related to that.
Yeah.
How did you and Kevin, like, how did you choose to communicate that with your kids? And maybe you can just talk us through that in a just a real way, and in a way to encourage other parents and grandparents and other people who are dealing with this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy news. My husband and I take the approach of pretty direct.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're not going to hold on to any news for too long because most likely we're going to talk about it and they're going to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, especially they're at the age where they're listening to us a lot.
Yeah.
So they're listening.
No such thing as secrets.
Yeah. I mean, when they were 2 and 3, you could talk about things that they wouldn't know, but now they're at the age where that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And so they know what's going on, and they know what's going on for our emotions. Like they see mom starting to feel the emotions. Yeah. And they're like, what's going on with mom? What's going on with dad? Why, you know, why are they jumpy? You know, why are they crying about, you know, something that they don't need to be crying about?
Right. Yeah.
And so really, for me, it was like, let's just be super direct with it. My 2 children are very different with,
personality-wise.
As parents, you know that, you know, you kind of have to take, so with my son, it's very direct right away. And then we waited a little bit to tell my daughter because we knew she would need a little bit more sitting down, more explanation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pretty much just, because I was crying, my son was in the hotel room, like there's only so much space, right? We're in one room.
Yeah.
And so I pretty much, you know, just said, hey buddy, like, this is it. I just got the email from the school district. You're going to be going back to school, you know, online next year. And he just automatically, he didn't cry, you know, he's a 5th grade boy.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But you could tell, like, sadness set in, you know.
Sure.
So we hiked up a mountain, which is sometimes what you just need to do.
Yeah. Go on a walk. Like
go on a walk, get out. And so we hiked up and we just talked about it. I said, what comes up for you? What are you feeling through this, you know?
So that's important, right?
Oh,
as parents to ask the question and then listen for the response.
Yeah.
Like, I'm learning to do this better and to not try and devalue what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, I already kind of know what the solutions are, the possible solutions. I know all the upside. Yeah. Plus, I'm an optimist, right? I'm the Tigger in the family, so everything's got a positive side, and I'm just going to look at the positive side and not acknowledge the hurt and pain and negative, right? Yeah. So just good reminders for parents, right? Like, listen, empathize, show sympathy before you craft a road through it.
Yeah. And I think for us, it was perfect timing for us. Like, we're out in Utah. It's on vacation, so we don't want it to drag down our vacation either. But at the same time, you know, it's reality, you know. Yeah. So we hiked up this mountain. We stayed in Bryan Head, Utah, where it's a ski resort. So we literally hiked up the ski slope.
Nice.
And the altitude was getting to all of us, so we didn't make it all the way to the top because we weren't taking the ski lift. Yeah. And we got about halfway, and we kind of had a conversation, especially with my daughter didn't go with us on this walk, which was actually good too, to have that chance with just our son. Sometimes it's good one-on-one too, because they react differently, and that takes a lot more time and energy. But it's really important to have your one-on-one times with their kids because they have different emotions, and sometimes they'll say like, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling that," when they're really not, because the other kid said that, you know. Okay. So we allowed him to kind of get it out, and then at the top, it was like, "Hey, buddy, as we head down." Like, let's start thinking about all the positives. Let's start focusing on the things that we can do. Let's look at the things that, you know. Yeah. So
like for your family, not to be the Tigger and to focus on the positives. Yeah. But, I was reminded, in light of all these conversations we're having about politics and race and and schools now and churches. I mean, you would think, how can this discussion about whether or not you should open your church or not be so divisive? And yet, seriously, it's so divisive.
Yeah.
Like the churches that have decided to open up, you know, there's this sort of attitude like, what's wrong with you guys on this side? You don't have any faith. And then the people who aren't opened up is like, why are you guys being so irresponsible?
Yeah.
So a critical spirit is not from God, right? We know that.
Yeah.
So what does that, you know, what are the positives? Like for the Hart family, help us.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we focused on the fact that we have a family that supports one another, you know, and so for our family, it is a positive because I was pointing out to my son, like, you have a dad who's an educator who is going to be around. You have a mom who's educated who can help you. For our family, it's not, you know, the end of the world. And then I kind of also tried to point out the fact that, you know, there's other, you know, we'll get together with friends, you know, safely, and we'll do that things. And so let's try to look for those things that are good.
The positives in it.
I mean, and it's hard. It is hard because even the issue, like you said, with churches opening, the issue among educators, whether or not they should be back in classroom or not, is divisive.
So for your household in particular, right? We have a lot of people in education that are part of our community for sure, and part of our Grace Church family. What's it like? I haven't asked Kevin this, so I don't know what kind of answer I'm going to get from you, but what's it like for him? I mean, this is honestly, it can't be what he signed up for.
Yeah. He's just struggling because as teachers, most of the teachers don't actually know what it's, I don't know if I should say this live. They don't know what it's supposed to look.
We're live. We're just being real. It's okay.
They don't know what it's going to look like in the fall. You know, we're getting emails right now saying like they're working on it, and that's the truth. They're working on it. They don't know. So for him, practically, he doesn't know what that's going to look like. He doesn't know what his schedule is actually going to look like.
Yeah.
And that's hard for him because over the summer, he's the type that dreams and plans and gets excited about new things he can try out in his classroom, and he doesn't feel like he can do that. And that's actually what summer's for teachers. Right. It's not just a vacation. It's a chance to really like dream and be excited about the new year. And I feel like I'm not seeing that from him this year, which is like
understandable.
Completely understandable. And hard for him to have to deal with.
I didn't really, I've never really thought about that from a teacher perspective. Like what you just said about him, like using summers and stuff for that innovation and dreaming and envisioning new ways to connect with your kids and all that. And all of that pretty much got kiboshed because the platform for which they're being asked to connect and educate just changed a lot. So that's a good word for all of you teachers out there. We need to pray for you. That God gives you extra strength and patience and creativity to think about how you can connect with your classroom, even though it's not ideal, through the screen.
And so they're still kind of waiting to know what that actually look like, so that unknown is scary, right? We as humans like to be in control and know what's coming. And so I think that's where a lot of the anxiety, where a lot of the struggle, the fear that, just feeling of being off, is coming from, is just not knowing what it's going to look like. I mean, I was just talking with one of my friends this morning, and her situation's different. She's stay-at-home mom, but she's like, am I going to have to be at my house from 8 to 2?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Like, I don't normally stay home from 8 to 2.
Yeah.
So it's things like that where we're like, we just don't know, and that unknown is hard.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Kim, because, and Adam, I want to ask you a question about this, this unknown, everything's out of control. Right. I even know, like, for our team, right? For our staff team, like, what's school going to look like for all the staff members that have kids that aren't going back to school? Like, how does that work, right? We're going to have to kind of probably redesign, how we even work as a team to provide the opportunities and all that. So, okay, that's good. I want to ask Adam this question, because Adam, like you started at Grace pretty much when this pandemic came down the pike, right? So, how is the uncertainty and anxiety surfacing in in the kids that you're trying to connect with.
Right.
So just first of all, so Adam's a junior high pastor.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to know right now. Right after you got to pray for Adam. I would not want to be a junior high pastor in this context, because I just think that's so difficult. But Adam, like, you know, you're trying to do ministry via Zoom and all those kinds of things. Like, how are you seeing that anxiety and stress surface in kids?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I love students. Students are great, you know, as much as I love seeing, connecting with them online, and Zoom Youth Group is a blast. It's turned into my favorite night of the week, because it's the one night I can actually see them. You know, I've tried, you know, hanging out one-on-one or social distance hang. Like, I'll throw a Frisbee, you know, the great social distance hang. Hey, go stand over there. I'll throw you the Frisbee, right?
Don't give me.
Right? So, but it's been hard. I've seen a lot of the distractions come out, a lot of the anxiety of, like, man, I've seen a lot recently of our numbers just kind of like, man, I can't see my friends. I just realized that, like, shoot, like, I can only see them over Zoom, or like if their parents are like okay with my parents, and we can hang out, you know, together and social distance hang. It's been crazy. Prayers are appreciated, for sure.
Now, Adam, you're you know, you're trying to get them into some safe spaces, right? As a pastor, to kind of connect with them and pray with them, help them. Like, what kind of things have worked well? You know, for you, just as a pastor and connecting with them. Obviously, you do Zoom, right?
Yeah, so Zoom has been great. I've noticed, especially with junior hires at that age, they're not exactly really involved on social media. So Zoom, especially with the parents, like connecting and partnering with the parents, is so it's key. And so what's really cool about Zoom is like you have passwords, it's really safe. But what's also really cool is I've figured out how to get them connecting with one another on Zoom. Not just with me and hearing a voice over and over again. I really started to, you know, one thing that pandemic has really brought out is a lot of creativity, and it's forcing us to be more creative. Because let's face it, kids aren't as responsive to that, just that voice.
So be specific with that, though, because I'm thinking about Kevin and the creativity that now you have to kind of like, because you still have a creative gift. You just have to figure out how to take that creativity and use it on a new platform, right? So like we know you've done some crazy stuff online with games and all that. You know, tell us about that. Like, how has that helped?
It's helped. It really gets them thinking, but it also gets their brains going of, hey, this is teamwork. So for example, we do games where they're forced to talk with one another, not just press that mute button and then listen and tune out. No, we're constantly getting their attention. Like, hey, tune in. Hey, there's someone else that's not the adult, but your peer is wanting to know how your week has been. And so we put them into breakout rooms where they have 1 to 2 minutes. Maddie and I, we call it the neighbor nudge, where it's 1 to 2 minutes where they answer a would you rather question. For would you rather drink iced coffee or hot coffee? They shouldn't be drinking coffee, first of all. You know what I mean? But so it's forcing them to really get their brains going a little bit more and getting them kind of out of that sluggish, I'll just turn on this computer for a little bit. Instead, they're, hey, no, this is something where I have to run to my refrigerator and grab something and run back within 10 seconds without bumping my toe on the coffee table, which I've done, and it's the worst feeling.
It's crazy. Like, seriously, I don't know if they probably don't have access to these games that Adam plays online, but there's some hilarious stuff you've posted. So if you have a junior hire that's just, you know, completely struggling, don't have any social connections, I don't know. How can they get a hold of you? Email you, text you, Instagram you.
You could email me. You could text me. You can go on to the church website, find my email there. You can also go and follow our social media on Facebook and our Instagram, GCGJHM. That one, GCGJHM. We'll be posting and uploading all our updates there.
Okay, cool. Okay, I have a special guest here, and this is working out perfectly because we've talked about junior high kids, we've talked about high school. And so now I want to bring in a friend of mine whose expertise in connecting with people is in the young adult world. Okay, so Adam, step away from your post. Jump in here, Ryan Montague. Come on. All right, a big round of applause for Ryan. Hey, Ryan, dude, give me a fist bump, bro. Give me a fist bump. Give me your book. Give me that book. It's good to see you.
Would you like a free mug?
Nothing like getting a text from me, huh? I know. In the middle of the morning, say, hey, Montague, you want a little coffee?
Well, when you said you're doing Facebook Live over here, I thought it was literally just you and your phone. And I was just like rolling up on your table.
Yeah, you're just rolling up. No, you ain't.
You are rolling up on his table.
You rolling up. You rolling up on my team right here, brother.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, if you're gonna go big, go big.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Okay, so if you don't know who Ryan is, other than the fact that he's looks really cool, I mean, look at him. He's definitely working out. He's got the summer look to him. Ryan is a father, a husband. How many kids do you have, Ryan?
3.
3. Ages?
8, 6, and almost 3.
And almost 3. Okay. But a large part of your life is spent connecting with college students, right? You're on staff at Azusa Pacific University. You also are connected with my good friend Jim Burns on the Homeward side. So he's a speaker. Your technical title at APU, like communications.
Yeah, communication professor, interpersonal communication.
Okay, interpersonal communication. What other kinds of communication are there other than interpersonal?
Well, there's organizational communication.
Yeah.
There's family communication.
Nice.
Most of my stuff all kind of revolves around emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Whether that's in personal or
What
professional.
is emotional intelligence, Ryan? In 30 seconds or less, look right into this camera right here and explain to the audience.
What emotional
This is
intelligence.
actually I'm going to have you back on my show, and we're going to talk about EQ. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. This is so important, especially right now. But for those that don't have any idea, they think you just made up a word. What is emotional intelligence?
So emotional intelligence is really kind of made up of 4 main quadrants: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So it's the combination of those 4 things together of becoming more aware of your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, then having the actual impotence to be able to manage those and control those appropriately, and then also having a social awareness of the relationship between other people, how they're responding, and then the relationship management of having some effective ability to navigate and progress through a relationship.
So this is so good. Like, man, that was really good, by the way, to do that in 30 seconds. This is really important right now, isn't it? Especially, Ryan, because culturally, the temperatures are so high. And we're going through a massive disruption. Culturally, I think I would argue even spiritually, relationally. And so one's EQ, right? One's emotional intelligence, awareness, and how to manage is huge. It's really a big deal. Okay, I'm going to have you back. I'm going to have you back, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so listen, this dude, he's a jack of all trades. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a professor, he's a speaker, he's a pastor. He attends a church in Azusa, Redeemed Life Church. A great church, by the way, in Azusa. And he preaches there, he teaches there, and unless you thought that was all, he's also an author. This is his second book.
That's right.
Called Untapped Potential. Moving from mediocre to a that'll preach, bro. Come on now. This morning I'm going to talk about moving from mediocre to miraculous. Whew! That's it right there. That's the book. I've not read this yet.
No, it just came out this week.
Okay, phew. Adam, I was just about. I've not read this.
That's why.
So this is my copy.
This
is my copy.
It would have been better if I would have said, I sent it to you like a month ago.
I know, it would have been much better had you said that. But you didn't. So anyway, okay, Ryan, we talked a little bit about, how do we do relationships right now? So Adam, our junior high pastor, he's trying to figure that out. Kim is our high school pastor. Now in the young adult world, they're struggling with this a little bit too. And I don't want this to be some infomercial for Montague and the Miraculous, but Ryan's hosting an online class right now, conversation about dating. And he's got a really cool title called
Kingdom Coupling.
Kingdom Coupling.
Okay,
dude, I gotta just be honest with you. Like, we're in the car, my family's in the car, and I was talking to them about this, and one of my kids brought it up. and kingdom coupling. It just sounded a little cheesy.
Yeah.
It sounded a little bit cheesy.
It's actually the least cheesy of all the available options.
Okay, that's great.
If you think that
You hear
one's
that?
cheesy,
It's the least cheesy of all the things that are available. Kingdom coupling. Okay, I think
so
you could
the
have done better.
subtitle is How to Attract,
There you go.
Date, and Select a Godly Spouse.
How to attract. Listen to this. Hey, listen to this. How to attract,
date, and select a godly spouse.
and close the deal. That would have been my title. And close the deal. So with the godly spouse.
We don't
Yeah,
want to
come
just
on.
close the deal.
One of my good friends, Ryan, that God has supernaturally and strategically placed in my life right now. I can get emotional about this because I care so deeply. Shared recently that the person that they married didn't share their faith. And it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. So I really appreciate you doing this class for all these young adults and just kind of walking them through this process.
It's been amazing. We're a little over halfway through right now.
Yeah.
And just with the first run, just kind of very initial, just basically my wife and I posting about it.
Yeah.
We ended up we've got 57 people in there now.
That's great.
And so it's been an incredible group of people and been really fun to be able to walk through a lot of this. And I mean the number of people in there, I think is just a testament to kind of the felt need and direction and needed guidance.
Now,
in
what
this
have you
area.
seen, Ryan? Talk to Kim and I a little bit. Talk to us about, in the young adult world, the college world right now. Has APU decided yet? Are you guys going back in person or not? Or what's the scoop there?
There are emails going out today.
As we speak. They'll let you know.
Yes.
What do you think's going to happen? Just 10 seconds. Are you going to go back in person?
You want me to make the official announcement?
Right? No. I'm just saying. Do you think they're going to go back? You already know, don't you?
I already know.
Yeah, because he's like some department head.
trouble.
Hey, listen, when you come on my show and you're asked a question, bro, you got to give me an answer.
There's a gap between what they've announced to faculty, and then in a few hours they're going to announce it to everybody else. Yeah, everybody else.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce I have an exclusive announcement right now, real time, at Classic Coffee. With the department head of the communications department. Actually, not the head.
Yeah, I'm not. No.
He's like, I'm not taking
but
that.
He's got weight over there.
It's above my pay grade.
Azusa Pacific has decided. Okay, I'm just jacking with you, dude. I'm just jacking. I'm not going to do that to you.
He's like, thank you.
Okay, but you and I both know it's not. You're not going back to normal anyway. We know that. You're not going back to what you had before.
Correct.
So just talk to us a little bit, Ryan. What are the challenges you see with this in terms of the young adult? And then I know your good friend Jim Burns has written a lot on how to parent an adult child. Maybe speak to that a little bit. Some of our audience, has kids that are in college.
Yeah.
And how do you as a parent even? So maybe address both of those too.
Yeah, part of it is it's getting creative in terms of who you're connecting with and how you're connecting with people. And even the focus of these books, the first book was Divine Opportunity, Finding God in the Conversations of Everyday Life.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's trickier now more than ever. And so, I've even been trying to figure out how do I adapt to that to still have these divine opportunities and these divine appointments when you're not really seeing people.
Yeah.
Or when you are seeing them, you've got face mask coverings or you're not sure if to fist bump, elbow, don't touch.
Yeah, what it is.
And, talk across the street, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that I've found that have just been really effective just in the last few weeks I started doing this was, if you've got an iPhone and the other person has an iPhone, rather than just texting, you can actually record your audio message and send them to it directly.
Okay.
So each day, I'll just kind of pray and ask God for 2 or 3 names or faces to pop into my head, and then I'll record a prayer. And so I'll just record a prayer and send it to them.
Yeah.
And that's come back with people saying, wow, that's so timely, or that was exactly what I needed at this time.
Okay.
That's been amazing. And then also, when I'm grabbing lunch.
That's a great suggestion, by the way. Yeah. That's a really great suggestion. Part of this phygital world. Have you heard this word phygital?
No.
Where have you been, Ryan Montague?
Been
Phygital is the world we now live in.
sitting in my office by myself.
It is. I know you were scared to get out of your office. I'm glad you've come out of your cave, by the way.
Just briefly.
Phygital is the world we live in. It's the combination of physical and digital.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The commercial business has already figured this out. The Montague family works seamlessly between the physical and the digital. You already do.
Yeah.
But the church is going to have to learn how to do this now. And communication. What a great way. Hey, instead of texting your friend a prayer, speak it into the phone and send them the audio.
Yeah.
And there's something more powerful about the audio than just Ryan,
Well,
why
it's
don't
a
you
lot
like
faster
do an
and
actual
easier.
video?
More people are likely to do that because it's faster, it's quicker, it's easier. I used to try, voice to text prayer, but then you got awkward auto corrections happening. And then I used to text it, but texting takes too long, and so you can't really get it out there very quickly to that many people.
Yeah.
So that one I think is the most effective because it happens a lot faster. You're more likely to do it, and it takes you, most of my prayers.
Okay, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but listen, this show's about practical stuff.
Yeah.
We're not just here, pontificating about.
One more practical one of
give me
divine
another
appointments
practical.
in this time and space.
In the phygital world.
So my other one is that I grab lunch from In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, other places, coffee from Starbucks, and so obviously it's all now drive-through.
And from Classic. Come on, we're at Classic. Why would you talk
Classic.
about Starbucks when we're at Classic?
Why would we do that?
I forgive you.
Yeah, I just wanted you to live out the scripture to make allowance for other people's faults.
I forgive you for that. We're here at Classic. You buy coffee at Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, but keep going.
It came out wrong. I started speaking in tongues. In my mind, I was actually saying Classic coffee.
Yeah, you were.
And it came out weird.
It's okay. I interpreted it.
Okay.
Because
where there's a tongue, there must be an interpretation.
That's right. There you go. So anyway, I'm going through those drive-throughs, just looking for opportunities where just the other day at In-N-Out, there's a person out there taking your order while you're standing in line.
Sure.
And so there wasn't a car behind me, so I just said, hey, I was going to pray when I got my lunch. Is there anything I can pray for you about?
Nice. Okay.
And she kind of and she started with health.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, is there anything more specific about that? Well, I'm actually 2.5 months pregnant, and I've got a doctor's appointment this afternoon.
Nice.
With meeting my husband there, and we're gonna have an ultrasound checkup, and prayer for that. And since there was nobody behind me, again, this is using emotional intelligence. Since there's not a massive line behind me that she needs to get to, there wasn't anybody.
Man, you're so
I said,
smart.
well then, can I just pray for you right now, real fast?
Yeah.
And she's like, sure.
Great.
So I prayed for her there, or when you get up to pay your money and do the money exchange, since she's out there taking orders, now this person's not multitasking. So that's the benefit of when there's not somebody out there, then they're taking your money and taking an order, and it's not ideal.
Yeah.
And so since she's taking the orders and he's just taking money, he doesn't have anything else to do. So
why
I was
not?
about to pray before my meal. Is there anything that I can pray for you about?
Yeah.
And able to hit a couple of people just to let them know, hey, I see you, care about you, and would love to pray for you.
Now, so Ryan's written a book about this, Divine Opportunities, and just how to redeem every moment that God gives you. And what I love about you, Ryan, is the practicality with this, that anybody can do this. This doesn't take a degree in communication or theology or anything like this, right? And today, more than ever, it feels to me like little things like that can be really impactful, because as you know, as a social scientist and a communication scientist, you know that we've never been more connected digitally but more lonely personally.
Yeah.
Right? So the opportunity to be real in that moment helps actually bring the physical part of the digital world together. Yeah. And that's powerful.
Well, and you never know what's going on in people's lives either. And so I've had a handful or more of times where I've done this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the person says, this was a total answer to prayer.
Yeah.
Just last week, I prayed a prayer that God would send me someone, or that God would speak to me, and he just spoke to me through you. And so many, in actually a chapter in that book is called "You Are the Answer to Prayer." So many times we complain about why hasn't God intervened, why God hasn't answered this prayer, and it's God speaks to people through people. And oftentimes when we feel prompted and then are disobedient and don't follow through, what we don't realize is that we could have just very well been disobedient to somebody else's prayer that now goes unanswered because of our disobedience.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
Yeah. Man, that's
Good
amazing. What do you like, Kim? How does when you think about all the moments that we have in our week, and what if we were able to intentionally redeem them like this? You know, like when we started this call, there was somebody that I've never met before sitting, in our live audience, and I shouted out to him, and we had a great conversation. We gave him a gift, and you just you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea what was going on in his life. And just the fact that we acknowledged him, gave him a gift, he poured his beer into the grace mug,
There you
got
go.
his pizza. I mean, how cool! How you don't know, you don't know how and what God could do by just being kind to one another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of talk in higher education about microaggressions. And so really these are opportunities to become micro connections.
Yeah.
Of just, it's just, even when I'm driving down my street, leaving my house, going to work, just waving at neighbors.
Yeah.
It's literally the only time I see them, but just those little things.
Yeah, well, that's because you're
just to
in your
say,
cave
see
there.
you, I love you.
You got to get out of your cave. Micro connections. That's
Micro
good.
connections.
That's
But
good.
so it's just, it takes you very little time and effort, but this is what
Yeah.
God positioned us here for,
Yeah.
is to just let people know, like, I see you, I love you,
Yeah.
God loves you, and that's why I do the prayer thing, is because prayer for me is just a way to end a conversation, and it takes a good, rather than it being a good conversation with a good guy, it becomes a godly conversation with a godly guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
And then when you don't bring
He's
in
bringing
prayer,
it.
you can have all
Montague's
sorts
bringing
it.
of
I know.
good conversations, but they just think I had a good conversation with a good person.
Yeah.
Oh, that person was
Yeah.
nice. No, I'm
That's
nice and I'm being good because of God.
Of
Yeah.
God.
And it's just a quick way to cite the source of that
Yeah.
goodness
Yeah, for sure.
by just saying, hey, can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? Hey, you mentioned this thing going on or this concern about your job or your week or whatever. Let me pray for you before I leave.
Yeah.
And then
That's
it
good,
flips
Ryan,
it from a
that's
good
good.
conversation to a
I
God
wonder,
conversation.
like students, even the power of students doing that with other students.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing I know I do is every week it's like I just ask the Lord, who, like you were saying earlier, voice texting or voice praying for students. Like every week I'm kind of like, okay, Lord, which students? And there's a lot of times where the name just comes to your heart.
Yeah.
And by connecting with them is really, you don't know how timely that is. It's just being obedient to hearing the Spirit's call. And students can do that. Everyone can do that. That's not a pastor thing.
Yeah,
That's not
at all.
That's a everybody
Right? Last
thing.
time I checked,
So-
we are the church. It's
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
it's not located down there or over there.
Yeah.
So really listening to the Spirit and being obedient. It's a good word.
And that's so good.
Yeah.
Montague out in the open today, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get him out a little bit more. Okay, Ryan, before I let you go, tell us about this book. Literally, this just came out last
This
week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So...
Oh,
No, man. Okay. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can I just say, I got my own signed copy right there. Look at that. Whoa. Dude, you're the coolest guy. You are seriously. Okay, so Untapped Potential.
Love that.
What's the thesis? 60 seconds.
Yeah.
What's the thesis? Here's the camera right there.
Okay.
Look into there. And man, for getting up
Yeah.
out of your cave, I at least owe you this.
Yeah.
A chance to advertise your own book to thousands of people that are watching.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm excited about this book, the full title, Untapped Potential, Moving from a Mediocre to a Miraculous Testimony, is that there's nothing God-honoring about a mediocre testimony of, people should see a difference in our life and in our lifestyles and the way that we interact with people. And it's looking for little opportunities, kind of like what we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
They're just giving God a chance, and then you do see God move and respond through people and what they're dealing with and what they're going through, and God connects people. And it's moving from missing fewer opportunities to connecting on more opportunities, and just seeing what God can do and allowing the Spirit to talk through you, through those prayers and through those little opportunities that add up over time with people.
Absolutely.
And then you start to see the supernatural and it's bringing more of the supernatural into everyday life, and that's where
Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right?
the miracles happen outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
So the more we step out of our comfort
Montague,
zone,
he's bringing it.
the more we
He's bringing
experience miracles and the supernatural, and that's what really takes it to a miraculous
In
testimony.
other words, you got to get out of your cave.
Got to get out of the comfort zone. You got to
You
get
got
out
to
of
get out of your comfort zone.
whatever that cave
right?
is for people.
Whatever that is,
Yeah.
whatever that cave is.
Because just because you're out of the cave doesn't mean you're out of your comfort zone. You can be here.
This is true.
And you're out of your house and you're out of
Yeah.
your office, but that doesn't mean you're
you're
out of your
moving into
comfort
that
zone, yeah.
uncomfortable space.
Yeah.
Okay, that was really, man, I appreciate you. I'm gonna have you back, and we're just gonna focus on that, because I think right now, Ryan, we have to find ways to overcome these obstacles that are easy. They're easy to use as excuses.
Yeah.
And not move through them and beyond them.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of it's just, I mean, the reason I came up with the stuff on, well, I joke that I have a thriving fast food ministry, but partially is that that's one place I'm going regularly, and all I'm doing is just observing rather than being on my phone the whole time. I'm just taking it in. What's an opportunity, and how do I work that in, and how do I use emotional intelligence to make sure that it's a positive interaction, and not a forced one or awkward one.
Yeah.
And then God, give me the boldness and the courage to speak up. And it's coming up with just simple, easy things. Like, how can I pray for you? I'm about to pray before I eat lunch.
Yeah.
How can I pray for you? That's super easy.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm multitasking here, Ryan. That's what you got to do when you're going live.
That's
you
right.
got to multitask. We got YouTube, we got Facebook, we got Instagram. There's a question about the class, Kingdom Coupling. Dude, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you come up with a better title for that on your second
I've
round.
actually gotten really good feedback on the title.
I know, yeah. See, I know, this is what I love about Ryan. He's like, no, JD,
Like,
that's
a
just fine.
good title.
Kingdom, okay.
Do you want me to sell you on the title right now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, not live on camera.
He's ready.
Not live on camera because you know me
It'll be
well
a
enough.
powerful message.
I know it would. Okay, I'm going. Okay, you know what?
In 5 minutes, I can give you a
No, but I don't
less.
okay, but
5
listen,
minutes.
we live. We got to keep this thing going. Their attention span. But here's the deal.
No, here's the thing about attention span.
You know what?
Let me break in
I
on
love
this.
this dude. This is what happens when
like, don't give me attention
when you
span
ask
argument.
a communication dude to come on your show. He has a card to play that I don't have to play.
Because here's what it is. People complain about the attention span all day long. And it's if you have good content,
this is true fact.
and you're touching on a felt need,
This is true fact.
people will sit and listen to you for hours.
This is why when people tell me you can only preach for 25 minutes, I'm looking at them going, sorry, dude. If I got the goods, I go an hour and you'll stay. You'll stay in.
If
right?
you've got good content and you are
Absolutely.
touching on a felt
That's
need,
a true fact.
I mean, the things, like I taught this same class for APU in May with 18 students.
Yeah.
I did the worst teaching pedagogy you could ever possibly do.
Yeah.
I talked for an hour to an hour and a half scrolling through a PDF while I shared that with my screen. It was the first time in 12 years of teaching I've ever gotten a 5.0 in my teaching evaluation.
Across the board.
Across the board. It's the first time ever, and it was the worst teaching.
So to your point,
I've
terrible
ever done.
teaching, amazing content.
And a giant felt need.
Can I get to my question now, Montague?
Yes.
Can I get to my question?
Yes.
Oh, great one. Somebody wants to know about the Kingdom Coupling class.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you're already halfway in. So you're going to do this again. I hope you would do it again in
September.
Is it going to be though, like for everybody? Because I know you also do it at the.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm doing is for anybody and everybody.
So you'll do this again.
Yep.
What's the best way, Ryan, for them to get that information?
Yeah.
Like, how do you want to do this? You want
where you can get the most information, probably the fastest, is going to Kingdom _coupling.
Okay.
.eventbrite.com or just go to the Divine Opportunity.
Just go to the Divine Opportunities,
pages,
right? Because the link is on there as well.
Yeah, so if they just go to Divine Opportunity in the social media.
We'll post it on our social media channels as well, the image. And just go Google Kingdom Coupling.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll come up.
So yeah, that's the best place to go, but we're going to do it every other month.
He's itching to give me an explanation.
I know he is.
Oh, it'd be fire too.
Would it be fire?
It'd be the best part of this entire interview.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay?
Oh, man, you're on timer.
And then we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap up here.
You ready for this?
All right, are we ready? Are you ready?
I guess
Kim,
I'm ready.
Kim, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is actually a message. Well, I put 2 and 2 together. So this was a message that I heard from Reinhard Bonnke. the great evangelist
Yep.
all throughout Africa.
Yeah.
And he was giving a message about how he was reading in Judges 16 about Samson, and how after Samson was wronged by his father-in-law, and he got upset with the Philistines, he caught these 300 foxes, he tied them together 2 by 2, tied their tails together, lit them on fire,
This
and
is good, dude. You gotta
sent them
admit.
into the harvest field.
Yeah.
And it created this blaze.
Well, if you
So-
can't preach that, Montague.
So here's where Reinhard Bonnke makes the connection with Jesus. He gathers the 70 disciples, he pairs them off 2 by 2, he fills them with the fire of the Holy Spirit, and he sends them out into the harvest field to heal the sick, to cast out demons, to raise the dead.
Sure.
And we see a blaze of the Holy Spirit take
Little
fire.
eisegesis, but boy, it'll
So
preach.
the whole
That's
idea
good.
of kingdom coupling is that you get people that are well matched. Gary Thomas said the phrase that hell fears a well matched Christian couple. So if we can get people coupling together, paired up with the fire of the Holy Spirit,
good.
sent out together as a married couple to heal the sick, to raise the dead, and to preach the gospel,
Amen.
then that's what's going
Give
to
him an
start
amen,
the fire.
bro.
Amen.
Give him an amen. He's preaching.
So there you have it. Now how about the title?
That's good. Okay. I still think you could do better, Montague, but that's good.
Oh my
That's good. That's good.
Unbelievable.
All right. Hey, listen.
And it was under 5 minutes.
And it was
That
under
was.
5 minutes. Hey, I appreciate you. We're going to have you back on, and we're going to talk a little bit more.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it. Thanks for having me on today.
You're welcome. A big round of applause for Ryan.
Yes.
Just stay right there, Ryan. You're real good. Kim, are you okay?
Yeah.
Did we do okay today?
I think we did okay.
Yeah, I think we did okay.
I don't know.
People are still here. They're
Yeah.
paying attention. They want to engage, but they're not really sure about it. You know.
Yay! Thank
But we
you.
got some cheers. All right, so let's wrap this up, man. A lot of you online today, like seriously, we have people like in different parts of the world
Oh, wow.
watching. No
This is
joke.
legit.
Yeah.
You. This is legit.
This
You're
is-
global.
We're global.
Well, you're global. I'm just a little kid from Congo.
We're just here.
Trying to, put my pants on every day and get to work. So a lot of great people, a lot of great friends on. I hope this has been encouraging to you. And here's what I want you to do now. Listen, we talked about a lot of things today that are going on in our culture, and God gives you an opportunity to shine the light of Christ and to be the hope of the world, right? Paul says, Christ in me, the hope of glory. So I hope that you will pray about somebody that might need to listen to our conversation today about connecting with other people, about divine opportunities, about micro connections. And why don't you make it a goal today, before the sun goes down today, to send a prayer to somebody and record it and just text it to them and just pray that God would really use that as an encouragement to somebody else who may appear to be really connected, but they're lonely inside. And all of this cultural stuff is kind of wreaking havoc on some of our emotional health. And a simple prayer can be used in a really powerful way to really serve people and to encourage them. So there's your assignment. Listen, this midweek isn't meant to just sort of be fluffy. It's meant to encourage you and to sharpen you and to give you hope and courage and love, to be intentional with the people that God has supernaturally and strategically placed around you. All right, here I am. I'm signing off from Classic Coffee Midweek Live. Ciao. I'll see you next week.